Good morning, it's the Saints man, small van driver on the CX, and it's Sunday, 3rd of April. This is looking back on last week. What a week, Jesus. First of all, yesterday, Saints. Off yesterday, went to the Saints with the wife. Fantastic, what a great game. They're playing good all of a sudden. Is it too late for the season though? We're a little bit off. We need to be in the top 4 for the playoffs, but keep playing. Got a week off next week they have. So I might even work Saturday because I had a crap week last week. Not due to lack of jobs or anything, just things just didn't work out really. I weren't working Monday because the Monday the 28th, because my van was in for the diesel particle filter and all that gunk and putting the stuff in. Massively expensive. So it went to the Citroen garage, which is 15 miles from where I am. They give me a hot rental car, and I met me accountant who lives about another 15 miles across. So I got a day off really. But I met the accountant because I'm VAT registered on the flat rate scheme. I started on the 1st of April. April Fool's Day, I know, but it's what I'm on now. So we had a chat, things we could do. All good. It is going to be better for me on the flat rate scheme than being just ordinary. So, yeah, it's better being VAT registered. I got the van back, up as 4. Yeah, up as 4 Monday. Took the iCar back, had a Citroen C4, top of the range. Had one of them heads-up display on the windscreen that pops up, tell you, no, it was all right, but there's so much electronics, it's going to go wrong. You know, it's going to go wrong and cost you a fortune. But, yeah, it was okay. Picked the van up. Van seemed great. They said everything went okay. They did tell me that 2 bulbs were... they did a health check on it. Why? It was only in for the diesel part filter. They did a health check on the 7th of March. Told me there was 2 bulbs out. They charged me 12 quid to put them in. And when I went back on Monday to pick it up, they said, 2 bulbs are out. And I said, it wouldn't be the... number plate and the rear centre brake light, would it? And he went, yeah, do you know? I said, because that's what it was on the March the 7th. He charged me 12 quid. So obviously he didn't put them in. He went a bit silent, looked through his figures, looked through the 7th of March's detail, said, I'm really sorry, Mr. Webb. We'll just whip it back in and get these bulbs sorted. So if I hadn't gone back for this diesel particle, they'd charge me 12 quid for something they hadn't done. So anyway, more about the van in a bit. So Tuesday morning, I got a job Monday, picked a job up out of Brackmills, Northampton, which is very close to me, Tuesday morning, to go to Hams Hall. It was only a short job. It was a pallet, fitted in the back of the van all right, no problem at all actually, got it in easy. I had to take the top one off, he'd loaded it weirdly, just take the top one off, but it went in. To Hams Hall, that was a little job, I think it was about 48, 50 mile all in. Quoted 41 and got it. So that was that done. And then I got a job from Coventry to Northampton. It's a company I work for quite a lot. Small job. And it was this side of Coventry. Hams Hall's not too far. I quoted 35 quid. I think it was 42 miles all in. Got the job. Back to Northampton. I know where I was going. I've been to this company a few times. And then I've got to go visit the accountant again because I couldn't set up... I'd got me registration come through from the HMRC for me VAT, which needed to be... and it wouldn't let me accept it on the CX. And I found out you have to do it on the day because obviously they take it. Chatted with them. So I nipped back over to my accountant, only 15 miles up the road. It was dead miles, but it was lunchtime. Spent about an hour with her, hour and 20 minutes. Picked a job up then from Rugby, which was 8 miles from where she lives, 7 miles to Milton Keynes. And that was 38 quid job to our favourite, John Lewis, in Milton Keynes. I've been there a few times, and I don't have many issues with it. Yes, you have to... I went to number 1, John Lewis. There's 4. There's 4 different places. It's always number 1 or 2. Went to number 1, through the gate. He books you in. Yeah, you have to get booked in. You park up. You go to reception. You hand your documents. As long as you've got the code, the right code, you're right. If you haven't got the code, you're refused. You're out. It was booked in at 4 o'clock. I got there at 3:20. I thought, well, I'll go in. I had a clear rundown. I thought, I'll go in. It was only 3 boxes, a couple of heavy boxes, and then a lighter one. And he let me in the gate. And at reception, she was absolutely fine. Put me on a loading bay. Yeah, it took about 10-15 minutes to get it all done. I was in and out in probably 20 minutes. So, yeah, John Lewis can be okay. I think if you just, you're helpful, I think. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought it was going to be a bit of a rubbish day, but that's what it is. And then I picked another little job up, Milton Keynes to Bedford. It was past Bedford. It was a village the other side of Bedford. But Bedford's not too far from me, 25 miles, same as Milton Keynes, about the same distance away from Northampton. Picked that up straight away. It was the other side of Milton Keynes, booked 32 on it, because it was about 30 odd miles, pound a mile. So it weren't too bad. If you took my dead miles off going to my accountant, Ruth, and the dead miles home, I'd had a good day. But I only did 9 hours in total, and that was with an hour and a half at the accountant and £146. So it ain't brilliant money, but I could have probably got another job in if I hadn't seen the accountant, and just that would have got me another 40 quid. So I'd have looked at about 190 for a 10-hour day. So it's not too shabby, but I got 60. I average 60 per mile all in. That's with my dead miles. So it's what it is. But what had happened? The van. It had been running, and the fan was coming in. It's not warm. The fan was coming in. The engine fan was kicking in. Never happened before. And you turn the engine off, and it carried on running, a bit like it needs to cool the engine down. And the engine temperature's fine. I've checked it, oil. And when you turn it back on again, it goes off. Never happened before. I've had this van over a year, done 75,000 miles. Never happened before. So I phoned Darren up, my mechanic. I was off Wednesday as well. I had to get Wednesday off and all. So I phoned my mechanic up, Darren, who does my work anyway, and he says, yes, mate, they have to regenerate. It's the diesel pipe. They should have regenerated it, and they should have run it. He says, it needs, you'd have to, have a word with them. He says, if you do a long run, it'll clear it probably on the computer. He says, so if you wait till you do a long run, if it stops doing it, you're all right. He says, but there's no problem. The fan will go off. He said, it's just a nuisance. So I left it. So Wednesday I had to have off. I had a couple of things I had to do myself. It was bike night at night, and by the time I'd finished all the jobs I wanted to do in the morning, which I hadn't prepared for, I thought it was going to work, but these things crop up. I didn't get done till about 1 o'clock, and it was a bike night, our first bike night at All Seasons, wife and daughter's cafe in Northampton. Every Wednesday's a bike night now, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to bin it off. So I did. I binned Wednesday off, did a bit of paperwork, got stuff sorted. I had a chat with the CX. I'll come on to that as get well. Nice, emailed, and I spoke to a lady at the CX, really nice lady. Yeah, so really, it was paperwork and just a rubbish day. So the week's turning into a rubbish week. I had to have Monday off, I had to have Wednesday off. I ain't done much Tuesday, 146 quid. Picked a job up Thursday, though, Thursday morning, and I wanted a long job to see out. I thought if I stay out, I'll stay out, although it's bloody cold, tramping this weather. I thought if I stay out, I'm going to stay out. Just go. I got a job in Northampton, 9 o'clock, pick up to go to Manchester, right in the centre, M1. It was a boulevard, sort of, you had to reach it in Manchester. It was taking a laptop from the same company. I've done work with this company before, and it's good work, it's okay. It's always small, it's always one box, and it was a good company in Northampton. Booked 98 on that, which was okay. It was 70, just over 70 pence all mileage from my house. I think it was about 70p from my house. The pickup's 6 miles away to Manchester M1. Got to Manchester, yep, you're on the old tram track, right in the centre. Yellow lines everywhere. Found the building, huge building. They're on the 6th floor, this company. Where'd you park? And there was a van parked in WL's, and I parked my van. First of all, I pulled over in the van. The fan was still bloody going, which is annoying. So I turned the engine off, turned it on again, fan cut out, and turned it off. So I left it on double yellow lines, put my courier signs on the van. I've got my magnetic ones to say I'm a courier. As the lights on, run in, up the stairs, come back down. I was in there less than 5 minutes. Sorry. Early morning, just walked the dog. I ain't got coffee yet either. So yeah, Manchester has done that. You got to get out that centre. You can't park anywhere in that little centre. It's red, it's yellow, it's everything. It's just nowhere to park. Not if I've found. So I looked for the nearest supermarket, and this time it was an Asda, and it was about a mile and a half away. And that suits me. I need the toilet. I can chill out and I can look for jobs. There were jobs pinging everywhere. Manchester, I think the Manc Courier, he's YouTube, he said the same. The jobs are popping out everywhere. So it's a matter of picking a job that you want. So I parked up at Asda. I thought, don't look at the feed. Go to the toilet. Get some food. Get a drink. Then look. Try not to rush it. Anyway, I paid for my drink. Got a coffee. Back to the van. I'd used the toilet. I'm looking at it as I'm walking back to the van. There's about 15 jobs. But they're here, there and everywhere. I thought, do I stay local? Do a couple of Manchesters and try and get a quick bit of money, or do I head back or head somewhere? And the one that picked me, there was one to Rushden from Bury, and I missed it. By the time I got it to put quote in, job sold. That would have been ideal. That would have got me over 200 for the day, and I'd have been Rushden's 10 miles from my house. So I missed that one, so I was a bit gutted. But another one popped up, Stockport to Hinckley, and that appealed to me. So I put a quote in on that. I weren't far from Stockport. I was 4 or 5 miles itself, Manchester. Hinckley is just down the M1A5 that way in. Quoted 80 quid on it. A pickup was straight away, and I got it. So it was some little print company going to their sister company in Hinckley. I gets there. I got there, no problem, on time. Little company in print, nice modern building as well. I don't know, it could be a sweatshop, but modern building. And I got there and I thought, well, they can't be mine. But there was four pallets. But they were small. They were 600 by 600. And they was about 600 high. Yes, they fitted in it. And I thought, and he went, oh, mate, he says, did it? They'd ordered a small van at the other end in Hinckley. So the courier I worked for sent a small van in, me. And he went, bloody hell, mate, you don't have to take these over. And I says, well, first of all, I got my tape measure out. I thought they might just go in. I said, how much do they weigh? So he's got a pallet truck with a digital scales on. So he picked one up, leveled it, 125 kilos, 124 points. 120, so it was half a ton, 4 of them. I can take that, but my God, it's heavy. It lumps the van down. So he put some on. I says, let's put them on. I says, let's go. And I thought, I'm going to ring the shipper up, because he should tell you they're 500 kilos. And I know the van will take it. I've had them on twice. I've had not over this distance, but I thought it's all motorway. I'm okay. I'm under my limit. So I phoned the shipper up just to say to him who I was. And I says, you all right, mate? And he was really nice. And I says, did you know there's 4 small pallets here? He went, what? I said, I've got them on, because he put the last 2 on. And yeah, the van, but I've got progressive springs, so it sits like that. It doesn't go like that where you're going along. It sits dead level. And he went, never told me that, mate, at all. So what he done, he put another 12. He says, I'll tell you what, mate. He says, I can put another. I says, well, if you put a bit extra on, that'd be nice for me fuel. And I'll give him a do. He's made it up, rounded it up, and he gave me another 12 quid. Not 12, 15 quid, 95. So he gave me more money, which was nice of him straight away. He said, you all right with that? I says, yeah. I said, that'll be fine. I says, it sits level. I said, it's fine. It's under the limit. I said, it's just a bit heavy. To be fair, I drove it back. Van drove lovely. Still got the bloody fan going on, by the way. So I just poodled down to Hinckley, down the motorway. I thought I'd stick on the motorway and cut off at, can't remember what junction. We cut across the M69, picked the A5 up. But I just stayed on the M6 coming down. I didn't come off at Cannock and go down the M5, which was about 8 miles less. I thought, no, I'm just going a nice pace down there. I'm going to stay on here. And got it to Hinckley, no problem. Bloke was really nice. Leicester Tiger supporter. So we had a bit of banter because Leicester Tigers are top, which, hey, that's what it is. But we had a bit of banter, really nice bloke, right next to McDonald's. So took that off. Um, yeah, did the job. I checked the fuel economy going down with half a ton on. Believe it or not, it didn't drop. It dropped about a mile per. Instead of being 54, it was 52. So it's not a lot of difference. The van didn't move in the wind either. But hey, it took away and it was fine. Um, I've checked on my thing and it says I can carry up to 600 kilos. I wouldn't want to put no more than 500 on. And I've got upgraded springs, really nice, top of the range upgraded springs. I didn't put them on. The man previous put them on. But hey, it carried it. While I was in Hinckley, I weren't far from home. I'm 40 miles from home. And there weren't a lot going then. A lot of jobs. There was nothing going my way. I wanted to go home. I phoned up Citroen because this bloody fan, and Darren says they'll have to go in diagnostics and sort it out. He says it's not regenerating. So I phoned Citroen up and yeah, they said, "Oh, right." He says, I said, "Yeah, but," I says, I don't want another day off work. I want it sorting. I said, "The fan's on." I says, "I have to turn it off. I've never had this." I says, and he went, "Oh." I said, "It's not coincidence." I said, "Something else hasn't gone wrong with it. This was fine, apart from it hadn't got any of this liquid going through, and the diesel particle filter needed cleaning." I said, "But apparently you've had to regenerate. It regenerates through the computer to take the warning off." And I said, "You've had it all day to test drive it." I says, "And it hasn't worked." So they're having it in next Tuesday at 8:30. I'm staying with it, and they've got till 10 o'clock to sort it because I want to work. I can't afford another day off. I've got to see my accountant, who's 12 miles from where the garage is, something like that. I want to work. So at 12 o'clock, I want the van right working. If it ain't, they'll have to sort it out. But I can't keep having the van going into a dealer. I paid more for this than I would have done a mobile bloke coming to me. But I was advised by the mechanic, the top mechanic, Darren, who he don't do this job. But he said, the mobile guys come out, there is no guarantee. So if it had gone with one of them, I don't think I'd have got a mobile bloke to come back. At least with Citroen, they're going to sort it. So I love the van a bit. It's a great van. But it's just a pain when something like goes wrong. Anyway, digress. So I did 178 quid. 190 quid on Thursday. And it worked out 62 pence a mile all in. That was driving 40 miles home and a bit of dead miles in Manchester, probably 20 miles in the end. So Friday, picked a job up. The CX has picked up. It definitely has. There is more jobs on there. Definitely more jobs. There weren't as many as there was before Christmas, right up to Christmas, because it was over, for small vans, it was over 200, 220, 240, up to 300 in a day, in a peak time before Christmas. Now, there was 170, 160, 180 average, because I was looking at the feed. So it has picked up, because it was 110, 120. So let's hope it's on the things to come. Friday, I got a job. Northampton to Nottingham. For a company that's very local to me. Literally, if I walk to it, it's about 800 yards, but it's on the next retail outlet, which is over a fence. And to go in the van, I've got to come out where I go on the dual carriageway up and round. It works out 2.5 miles. So that's what it is. I did one to Nottingham. Now I'm 1st of April. Oh, first thing I did was phone the CX up. Phone the CX. Put my VAT number on the CX 1st of April, because that's when CX had been in touch. They've been really good to me. Lots of emails. I've spoke to them twice, and they set up a finance manager for me, which is a new thing on the CX, which I've got to get used to, which allows me to input QuickBooks, the CX onto QuickBooks, link it up. I won't be doing that, by the way, because I'm not technically gifted enough, but I know someone who is, my accountant. So, yeah, got in touch with them at 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock. Well, put it in, all went through fine. Admin have to put it on to authenticate it that I'm properly numbers right with HMRC and register it on, which they did. Set the finance manager up, which they got back to me within 20 minutes, said that's all done. So CX, yeah, big thumbs up. But yeah, got a job to Nottingham, and now I'm adding VAT on, but I don't, you just quote the price. And I did it for £52 because it was where I was, and it was 68 miles. But I did it for £52, 70, about 75p a mile every mile. Straight to Nottingham, no problem. I went to Nottingham University, right in the centre of Nottingham again. I'm getting a lot of city centres at the moment, which is okay. It takes a bit longer, but I went right in the centre of Nottingham, delivered 11 boxes to the university. It wasn't actually to their main place, it was to, again, on the tram tracks. So we managed to eventually get someone to. The woman weren't there, she was on holiday. It was a day off on holiday or whatever. But someone eventually said, yep, this is where you are, at the right place. It's a smaller building for international stuff. Can't tell you the address, can't remember it. But all sorted. Took about 20 minutes though, which I could have done without because jobs were popping up. It's Friday. I'm not going to go mega long distances away. I don't want to be going up to Newcastle. You know, I want to keep quite localish. So Nottingham, I thought if I can go, I don't know, from Derby, Stoke, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, anywhere around there, or even down to North London, because that takes me past mine, and then try and get one back. But that's the strategy Friday, was to stay within a sort of 60 mile, you know, a roundabout. Anyway, job popped up, a couple of jobs popped up. I quoted on about 4 or 5 jobs. I parked up out the way, just up the road. Oh, parked up Asda again. There was an Asda just about a mile away. And I went in there and parked up. I was looking at my jobs popping up, and there was long distance jobs. Got Neil from Neptune's. If you'd have been in Nottingham, you'd have been in your element, mate. There was about 2 to Glasgow, 1 to I can't think where it was. Up that way anyway. But yeah, you'd have got yourself home easy, mate, on a Friday from Nottingham. But obviously I didn't want to go there. And then a job popped up to Stoke on Trent instantly. Now JCB. No, ST4. I thought that's not JCB. ST10, ST14, DE65. That's JCB. Thought I'll ask if I'll quote, and if it comes back, I perhaps won't take it if it's a lot. I quoted 46, which it was okay. It was 47 miles. It was £1 a mile, but that's what I quoted. I thought I'm going to quote that because it's a smaller job. It could be JCB, and I'll do it at that perhaps, but we'll see. And also Stoke, I'm going to be there hopefully by 12, and then I'll be another job. And then phone went straight away. It's just great, you can do that job. He says you're very close to it as well. Believe it or not, it was near where I delivered. So I moved a mile out and I moved back. And it was right in the centre, but it was a little industrial estate around the back. And it was 1 box, 5 kilograms, 1 box, going to a company in Stoke-on-Trent in the centre. So it definitely worked JCB, so I was even happier. I got it delivered by 12:15, delivered. I'm thinking, great, that's 2 jobs. So now I'm on 98 quid plus VAT, which I hadn't sent any invoices to at this rate because they hadn't. I thought I want to wait and see. Let me just send the PODs through and I'll do the invoice when I've got a bit of time. So parked at Stoke-on-Trent. I was 1 small van within a 10 mile radius. Me, a couple of long wheelbases, Lutons. There seems to be a lot of Luton vans around. But I thought, great. But I'm looking specifically to come south. I don't want to go to Manchester. I don't want to go any further. This, so I parked up in Tesco this time, in Stoke. By the way, Tesco's in Stoke. Fuel, 168. Cheapest fuel I've seen, diesel. And I put 30 litres in. That's all I could get in. I wish I'd been empty. But yeah, really cheap fuel. They were queuing, but cheap fuel. So I was in Stoke, Tesco's. Get the fuel, goes and get some shopping for the van for the next week because I keep food, snack stuffs in there, like cereal bars. I get polos, spearmints, and I just load the van up every now and again. And it was running empty, so on snacks. So I loaded the van up with all the snacks, so I've got enough food even if I'm staying out. And I couldn't get a job. And it wasn't through quoting 2i. There was nothing to quote on. I moved. I stayed there for 2 hours in Stoke-on-Trent. There was no small vans in Stoke-on-Trent. There was no jobs in Stoke-on-Trent. I couldn't work it out because I went onto the main feed to see how many jobs there were nationwide, 180 odd, but nothing around me. There was jobs in Wolverhampton. It's too far, dead miles to get there. I checked the feed nearby, Stafford, Stone. There were no small vans around Stafford, Stone, Stoke. There was a couple in Crewe, which is a bit further north, 15 mile, 10, 15 mile. But I'm like, come on, come on. So be patient, Dave, be patient. I moved the van from Tesco's. I thought I'm going to park at Stone, near Stone, which is south on the A34. Big lay-by down there. I thought I'll park there because that covered Stafford without. I'm 10 minutes from Stoke. I'm 10 minutes from Stafford. I'm at Stone. It brings in. I waited. Harper's 3. I waited till 3 hours. It's a bit gnarly. But by then I'd done my invoices on my laptop. I'd sent the invoices and it included the VAT. So that was a good thing. Got my VAT number on the invoices, all that. So I was happy with that. I've even got a job for Monday. There was a job from Northampton. I quoted on it and got it for Monday, which I've got obviously tomorrow. But there's nothing. I'm like, for God's sake, I need a job home because I'm 90 miles from home. So I've got to make a decision now. It's now getting near Harper's. I thought, right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start driving on the M6 south. And for God's sake, please pick some up Birmingham or, anywhere that gets me at least 30, 40 quid. Because this day's just nosedived. But it didn't happen. Well, it didn't happen to start with. But then I was coming down towards the junction where you go off for Telford, Shrewsbury, Cannock, whatever. And a job popped up from Shrewsbury to Banbury. And I know the company. I've worked for them a few times. And I thought, how far Shrewsbury? And I was 30 miles from it. I thought, don't even look at the dead miles. Look at the job, price it. And I did. I priced it. It was 95 miles. I priced it 75 quid. And I got a phone call from Neil who runs it. Says, yep, can you do that? And it's hospital job to Banbury, to the main depot where the cases go. And I says, yeah, I'll do it. I said, I can do that. I says, give me the postcode, Neil, quickly. You have to watch down the motorway. You put your postcodes in, you're going to get nicked for £1,000 by doing your sat-nav. And I put the code in quickly. And luckily, it was the next junction off. I said, yeah, I'm going to be there. He says, you've got to be there for 5. And I said, it looks like I'm going to be there for 10 to 5. So it was ideal. So that got me a job south. So that worked out fine. Yes, it was with the dead miles. It weren't brilliant. But it's a Friday home job, isn't it? It's getting home Friday without getting some money. So I ended up doing 130 miles for 75 quid. Which is not brilliant, but it gets you... I was going to run home anyway, so it was 75 quid I wouldn't have got. So, yeah, you take that. And I got to Banbury for 7:15. I got to the hospital, private hospital in Shrewsbury, not the main one, not the Royal Shrewsbury, the private one. And the lady I was meant to meet, who was going to be there till 5, had buggered off home at 4:45. I had 5 minutes before I got there. But a lady says, well, you'll have to come in. So I take your track. I've got 6 cases, big cases to take. Yeah, they weighed a fair bit. Got them on my trolley, up the stairs and that, and back down the van. And it was okay. See every type of weather as well. Sun, snow, everything. Don't tell me what's going on with the weather at the moment. I ain't got a clue. So that got me to Banbury. And I got to Banbury about 7:15, I'm going to say, at night. And that's me done. Banbury to me is 35 miles from home. And I'm done. I'm finished. I ain't even looking for anything else at that time of night. I just want to go home. I got home about 8 o'clock, just after 8 o'clock. So it was a long day. It was a 12-hour day. But when you look at it, I didn't actually work for the best part of 4 hours. I couldn't even get out and go for a walk because it was snowing, sleet, and bloody cold. So I just sit in the van. But that day worked out 173 without the VAT. You add the VAT on, it comes up 207.60. So I'm over 200 with the VAT. Obviously, I'm on a flat rate scheme, so I'm going to lose 9% of that because I'm on a 10% flat rate. But the first year they give you 1% back. So I've got to work it all out. I've done the invoices. I'm on QuickBooks. I've transferred the bank over my bank, so QuickBooks took all the info out of my bank, my business bank. So we're off and running. It worked out 64 pence that day. So it was a pretty good day. But overall, 3 days, didn't hit 200. Well, I did Friday, but I didn't hit my targets. But that's how it is sometimes. I ended up doing 894 miles for £531, which is 60 pence. So I only had so I'm aiming. I did 600 quid for 3 days, so I'm 69 quid short. But I only did 3 days instead of 5. So this is. But I've based my year on 44 weeks, and this is why, because you get the day here, day there, you don't work for some reason. It happens, doesn't it? But all in all, the van's still bloody fans going. Off on stops. 30 miles later, kicks in. It's a pain in the ass. I'm going to live with it Monday. It's not doing any problem. It ain't doing anything wrong. It's not like it's the aircon on and using fuel. So yeah, we'll see what happens Tuesday next week. But I say, we've done this week. Yeah, the CX picked up. 6, for me this week, have been very helpful. I've spoken to a couple of guys on the help centre. I've emailed. They emailed back pretty sharp within an hour. It's emailed back. They've helped me through, and if I need any help, just to go to them, they'll sort it for me. I'm on a thing called Finance Manager now, which comes up on the left-hand side. They're getting everyone transferred onto it eventually, but they put me on it that day, the day before, to show me what it is, and I can use it. Finance Manager goes over. I haven't worked it out yet, to be honest. I've got to do it. I've got a lot of paperwork to do with business going into QuickBooks, but that'll be sorted. But all in all, yeah, not a brilliant week. There is work out there because you guys have been popping up and saying that they're doing really well. I've seen Neil put a video up there. He's had a really good week, done a fair few miles, stayed in a hotel one night. It is too cold to tramp. Yeah, this morning, I walked the dog this morning, it's -2 and there's ice everywhere. It's just, even now it's only about 5 degrees and this is like 9:20 in the morning on a Sunday. So, what's going on with the weather? But hey, we're back on it next week. I've got a job booked in Monday, going from Wellingborough down to, I can't think where it is, Waltham Cross. That sounds like it. So, okay, money, it's good money. Its pickup is 9 o'clock, which means I'll be leaving the house at 8:30, so it's not too early a start. Tuesday, obviously, they're having the van first thing in the morning, so I've got to stay local Monday, which is fine. Waltham Cross, I'll try and work a couple of jobs around London just to get me pence per mile up and come back up the motorway, hopefully get a job home. So Monday's going to be all sort of local. And then they'll have the van at 8:30 Tuesday to sort it out, this fan out, and they'll have to sort it out. Darren reckons it's diagnostics, they'll go on it and they can do it via that. They haven't regenerated the fluid or something like that, but hey, that's what they're going to have to do. They've said they'll have it in at 8:30 straight away, so we'll see. I told them I've got a meeting with the accountant, which I have. Should be 10 to 10:30, the accountant, but I've pushed it back to 11. That's going to be less than an hour, and then I'm looking for jobs at 12 on Tuesday, so that's pretty much it. Fuel prices are still high. My fuel last week, my cheapest fuel last week was 178, which is just mad, isn't it? It's mad. But I didn't use the fuel cards because I was getting Morrison's and supermarket fuels. I got Stoke at 168. I was paying 174, 175, but I'd rather pay that with my card than 178. Well, what's the point? So, and this week my fuel cards are the same, 178. My UK fuels. My BP card's 179. That's came down actually from 181. 181 on a fuel card. But again, I'll probably be using supermarket fuels because if it's cheaper, I'm going to put it in. You've got to save every penny. But I say, the CX seems to pick up. It has picked up. It's hopefully can stay on that upward curve. There's not that much COVID work now. That used to get me a lot of jobs to Norwich last year, but it's not. Anyway, rambled on. That was my week last week. I'm only posting them once a week now because Wednesdays is when I normally post them, but we've got bike night and Wednesdays could be a pretty busy day. If I'm not busy, and I've done 3. Well, I won't be done 3 days anyway. I'll be doing probably 2.5, maybe even 2 if it goes tits up Tuesday, but we'll see. So I'm posting on Saturday. I'm going to do a couple of smaller ones on running a van, the cost of running a van. I'm going to put that out next week. It's just perhaps a little helpful guide for people how much money you really need to put aside for your service and maintenance. But I'll say do that on another little video. So hope it's all good. Speak soon. Cheers.